All right, the Week 24 podcast. That is, for those of you who are math challenged, 5.5 months because there's 52 weeks in a year and we've done 24 of these podcasts. Now, what gets me really excited is we have one more week of regular season and the postseason sprint officially starts. So I want to give a huge congratulations to everyone who is still working hard today, everyone who still works hard tomorrow, and everyone who works even harder the day after that. You guys are the brave, you're the bold, you're the courageous, you're the ones getting it done. And tenacity and longevity and the courage to keep going means a lot. So I'm someone who promised I would show up every single day for my entire rest of my life with work, with family, with everything else. And I'm proud of you guys for continuing to show up as well and working hard and knocking the doors. Now, I want to talk about a lot of things in this podcast. Obviously, give some shout outs, some insights, some tips and tricks and things like that. But first, I want to hit on a text or a pronto, I guess, that I sent out Sunday afternoon. I talked about the next 5 weeks and just how important it is to hold yourself to a schedule. And so I want to hit on that briefly and then I'll dive into the shout outs and announcements. And so what I meant by that text and what I want and what I think the most important message that you guys can gather from this podcast is hold yourself to a schedule. If you're still knocking, I just gave you a ton of hype and shouted out how brave and bold and courageous you are. But I only mean those things if you actually work hard. And what happens this time of year is we go from, having full teams with team leaders and everything else. And a lot of guys have to go home or they end the summer. I mean, the regular season ends the end of August. And so our teams go from these full, robust, good schedules, dynamic orgs to smaller and oftentimes kind of hodgepodge crews where we're mixing teams, or you went from 20 people and now there's only 6 of you or whatever. I mean, it's not the same. And the people who stay out, I shout you out and I say I'm so proud of you. But oftentimes over the last few years, I've seen these smaller groups without the structure, without the leadership, without the culture that they had during the summer, kind of start to fall into bad habits. And I see people, and guys, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I've seen this time and time again. I see people start to exist and live in their apartments and not really work. So they're doing postseason, but they're not doing postseason. So they're living out there, but they're not really knocking doors. And plain and simple, that's just not going to happen this postseason. We're not okay with that. It's not going to be allowed. And so I'm going to be watching the stats and the effort like a hawk. And I understand that everyone has off days. I don't expect perfection. I don't expect, peak performance every single day. But I do expect effort. And I expect that from myself. And I expect it from every single one of you. So watch and know and be mindful of the fact that I'm going to be monitoring like crazy. And if you're out there during postseason and you're not working, you are going to very kindly be asked to come on back to the fold and hang up the knocking shoes for the summer, because we have to have good culture for the next 5 weeks. We have to have those who are out there working hard and actually doing this job. Those of you who are pushing, those of you who are striving, those of you who are trying to be your best and finish strong deserve that respect. And you deserve to not have it be made harder by people on the team who are pulling you backwards. So we have to have elite culture, elite work ethic. We have to do our best every day. And again, I don't expect perfection. And I don't even expect you to be the same kind of banshee that you were during the summer. Maybe instead of starting to knock it at 11 a.m. like you've been doing, maybe you guys kind of adjust the schedule a little bit and you start out a little bit later, or whatever it is. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but I do expect you to stick to a rigid schedule and work hard consistently every single day. I do expect you to try your very best and make postseason worth it. Because the reality is, this job was built to sprint during the summer, and it's not as much built for the year-round model. And I don't want you guys staying out there longer and longer and longer and having it ruin your summer experience because you're not working hard and you're falling into bad habits, and all of a sudden your per-day earnings is going way down because you're not working for the next 30 days. That's not what I want. I want you to end on a high note, end with lots of effort, end at your best, and then come back and help us grow. And the recruiting season, the off season, is a beautiful, incredible, important part of this job. And I'm going to talk about what you should be doing with your recruiting season here in just a little bit. Obviously, part of that's recruiting, but there's a lot of other things too. I'm going to be talking about that. Okay? And if you're not going to work for the next 5 weeks, do not stay in your summer market. Don't. Okay, come back. Come to Idaho. I've got a couple spots open in the Mega Mansion. I've got, we'll find a place for you. Come to Idaho. Come recruit with us. Come hang out. And that's secondary. I hope that you do work. I hope that you do push. I hope that you chase down goals and benchmarks and make it happen. But if you're not going to, don't just sit in your apartment. Don't just sit in your hotel. Don't slump back into bad habits while you're out there. Stay productive. Stay hardworking. So I really want to make that clear. And again, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but I wanted to get it off my chest right up the front. So, okay, now let me share my screen. Let's see, shared. Let's give some shout outs. Last week, we had a great week. It was the second to last week of August. We had Adam Tillman still at the very top of the chart with $23,228. Now, Adam, I've given him a lot of shout outs in these podcasts over the course of the summer for his work ethic and for the fact that he shows up and works hard every single day. And guys, last week was another even better example of this. And I just talked about how if you're going to stay out, make it worth it. Adam is the type of person who will always do that. So thank you, Adam, for setting the bar. But take a look at his first knock, 10:06 a.m. His last knock, 8:56 p.m. Adam is out working almost everyone in the partnership still to this point right now as he approaches 500K service, as he just won the Aptiv Cup. He's got a lot of things and a lot of reasons where he could say, hey, I can take it easy. But he's not. He's sprinting to the end because he knows what he wants to accomplish, and he might as well make the most of it. Adam with 3.7% 12 months, 96.3% 24 months, 63% same days, 89% sales to service ratio. I mean, you can't find much better than that. Alex Moises, another paragon of effort this entire summer with 23K serviced. 11:18 a.m. first knock, little bit earlier last knock, 8:29 p.m. Alex, still freaking proud of you, and I know you were out there late last night. John Martin picking up steam with 17K. Ryan Pay with 16.7K. And Ryan's another guy. We got to shout out his effort. 10:06 a.m. first knock, 8:55 p.m. last knock. Ryan is Adam's driving partner, so their stats are virtually identical on the timing of things. I'm really proud of that. Malachi Aquino, 16K. Malachi's last knock, 8:45 p.m., 10:15 a.m. first knock. Emmanuel Denise in Kansas City with 15K. Chloe Mendoza with 14K. Chloe's been on a heater, 170K on the summer. Kale, the rookie with 14K. Nice job, Kale. Carson Compton, 14K. Bo Compton, 14K. Freddie Hanau with 12.7K. Guys, I love seeing the good guys win. I'm proud of all the effort. Top rookies, Ryan Pay, Chloe Mendoza, Kale Corella, Bo Compton, Freddie, Radon Jones, Nathan Herrera, Spencer, Jaden Nieder, Mason Healy, Colton Eckler. Guys, I'm really proud of you. We still had double-digit rookies over 10K. The effort is monstrous. I love seeing the good guys push. I love seeing you guys fight for it and win. So congratulations on the weekly stats. When we look at the season totals, let me refresh this page for you. But we've got Mark Wilmore at 12.8K. They'll cross 13 million. Sorry, 12.8 million. They'll cross 13 million this week in their downline. Ryan Myers at 9.2 million. Andrew Myers at 6.7 million. Colby Markowski at 4.76, fighting to get to 5 million. Proud of you, Colby. McKenna Hall's at 4.5 million. Aiden Parent at 3.1 million. Chase Flynn at 2.5 million. Chan Mack at 2.3. John Martin at 2 million. Then we have a slew of guys between 1 and 2 million. I'm so proud of everyone. Carson Compton should cross $1 million in service revenue this week. Carson, congratulations on finishing strong, making it happen. On the season, top rookies. Let me sort this. Whoops. Okay, top overall, we've got Alex Moises, who just crossed $600,000 in service revenue yesterday. Alex has got 150K to go towards his goal of getting to 750K and punching the ticket to the Golden Door. Congratulations, Alex. Incredible to see what you're doing. Jack Ray at 526K in service revenue. Adam Tillman at 493K in service revenue. John Martin at 422K in service revenue. And then we go to top rookies. Ryan Pay at $355,000. Jackson Smythe at $269,000. Bo Compton $255,000. Presley Hayden $212,000. Adrian Nunez $192,000. Mark Workman $185,000. Ismael Torres $183,000. Jarek Harris $180,000. Emmanuel Aragon $175,000. Chloe Mendoza $170,000. Guys, wow, we have 37 rookies, 38 rookies over 100K in service revenue. That is monumental. Okay, every single one of you should push, if you're not already over the team leader benchmark, and stay out and hit that mark. In a couple of these podcasts, I've talked a lot about working smart. Right now is when you work smart. You push to the end. You hit the benchmark. You hit the rent bonus. You hit the ETLB qualifier. You hit all these really important milestones, and it's worth it. Okay, it is going to be worth it for every single one of you. So work hard and finish strong. Now, let me pause this. Okay, we're live again. I wanted to briefly explain one of the most important things of this podcast. For those of you still knocking, or for those of you who are willing to get back out there and rip again, the September Sprint. That's not officially how corporate has branded this thing, but that's what I'm calling it, the September Sprint. So it's, oh golly, I should have had the dates right here. Let me make sure I've got the dates right. Okay, so the September Sprint, that's not officially what corporate's calling it, but I'm naming it the September Sprint. I think that's a really good name. So it's September 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Let me check the calendar. Yeah. Okay, so it's September 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, which is next week's Wednesday through Saturday. So it's basically you stay out an extra week. You get Monday and Tuesday in there where they're not officially part of the competition, but then the rest of the days from that week count. And the prizes are absolutely massive. I just sent them in the pronto, so make sure you check that. But essentially, they've divided us up, and they've given us the chance to have 32 teams, and just under 50% of those will win a prize. Sorry, I think 30 teams, and 50% will win a prize. So the top 15 teams all win a prize, and each of these teams will have 15 or 16 people on them. Now, here's the funny thing, and here's the kicker, and here's why you all should take this very, very serious, okay? Corporate assigned 30 teams, and they gave each partnership an allotted number of teams, but every year at the end of August, there's more people that say they will do September knocking than actually do September knocking. And so Prime, for example, they texted the other day, and they were like, hey, you guys gave us like, I think Prime got 8 teams. Like, we really only have enough reps to fill 5 teams. Now, guys, obviously those 5 teams, not every single one of them is going to be a 5-star team. In fact, their bottom, 1 or 2 teams probably won't be all that exceptional. And so you've got 5 teams from Prime, 3 teams that won't even compete. We're going to be in the same boat. I think Mark got 3 teams. I think Andrew got 2 teams. I think Ryan and I got a team. So our partnership has like 7 or 8 teams. And to be totally honest with you guys, we don't have enough people knocking right now to fill 7 or 8 teams. And so us as well will have 2 or 3 open teams with no one on them. And all the other partnerships are in the same boat. I know Origin's in the same boat because I talked to Mitch Fry earlier today. I know Collective's in the same boat. I know Drip's in the same boat. And so there's 15 teams that'll win a prize, but guys, there's probably 10 teams that will have 0 people on them. And then there's probably another 2 or 3 teams that will have almost no one, and it'll be a very partial team. And so this is a week where you should win a massive share of the prizes. And I think if we take this thing serious and all of us commit to work really hard and buckle down and go big and lock in for the hours and do something hard and do extra, I think we have a great chance of winning the top tier prizes. So here's the prizes. And again, I just sent them in the pronto, so make sure you check that. But the first place team, every single person on that team wins essentially a $500 prize. So you can take a $500 Delta gift card. You can take an Oura ring, which those are really cool kind of fitness and wellness trackers. Especially girls really like those. You can win AirPod Maxes. I use AirPod Maxes regularly to go to the gym and on airplanes. They're incredible, worth every penny. The second place to the 5th place teams, you win AirPod Pros, you win a $300 Sneakeasy gift card, or the Nebula Capsule, which I Googled because I didn't know what that is, but it's this really cool projector that's about $300. The Sneakeasy gift card sounds really tempting to me there, just personally. And then the 6th to 10th place teams win Ray-Bans, a $200 StubHub gift card, so you could go to a jazz game, you go to whatever sporting event or concert you want and get really good seats, or an Apple TV. And then 11th place to 15th place wins a $100 Lululemon gift card, a $100 Chick-fil-A gift card, or a Beats portable speaker. So all of those prizes are really good. Every single one of you doing postseason and working hard should win at least a $100 gift card as long as you work hard and work the hours next week. It's worth it. And again, guys, if you haven't decided to do it, do it. Because it's worth it to stay out the extra week, hit the benchmark, win the gift card. If you're going out later in September anyways, which I know we have a bunch of you who are like, hey, I need to go home for a week or 10 days or whatever, and then I'm going back, try and make it back for this competition because it will be worth it and it will be epic. Now, there's more prizes beyond that. First place rep overall. So whoever's the first place rep on Active Rev during those competition days will win a $5,000 prize. That is crazy because the first place rep during that time period will probably only do $20K in total service revenue. I mean, hopefully someone pops off and does even more than that. But looking at it statistically, that's only 4 knocking days. $20K to win $5,000 effectively. You're getting an extra 25% in commission. That's insane. Okay, Andrew Myers, I know this might be news to some of you, but Andrew Myers is flying out specifically for this team, for this competition, to help his team win it all and to hopefully win the $5,000 himself. He's motivated, he's hungry, and he's going to try and throw down for it. So get excited for that. And if that doesn't get you pumped up, I don't know what will. But some of our other top sellers, you've got a fierce competitor who's coming out to work with you. Second and third place overall win a $1,000 individual prize, and then fourth and fifth place also win a $500 prize. Guys, a lot of you have the potential to be in the running for one of these top 5 spots. This isn't a week where every single big hitter is going to be out. In fact, most of them will have already gone home. Postseason is the extra mile, and not everyone does postseason. During the summer, Aptiv will have 3,000 reps knocking. During postseason, chances are, I mean, even if we had all 30 teams filled, which we won't, there would be less than 500 reps. And so it's not going to be, the Aptiv Cup where it's just impossible to win unless you're San Diego. It's going to be something where you guys should place very high in this and you have a real chance to win and make it all happen. So I'm begging you guys, take it serious, make it happen, fight for it, battle, and let's see an elite team win this thing. And let's see a lot of our other elite teams in the top 5, top 10. And then let's see some of our reps in those top 5 winning the individual prizes. I'd love to see it. I'm excited. I'm going to be working hard every day right alongside you guys. Unfortunately, I can't knock this time like I did in the Cup. But I'm going to be in the office grinding and making it happen because I care about what we do. And I'm going to show up too. And I'm going to work hard every day too. And I believe in what we're doing, in the vision, in the mission, in everything. So chase it down. Let's make it happen. Ooh, I'm getting dry on water. Okay, a couple other thoughts, and then a couple other announcements, and then I want to share some insights for the next month and what the recruiting season should look like. And so thought number 1, I've had a lot of you ask me, come to Idaho Days. It's going to be sick. It's October 6th to the 8th. We will have Airbnbs or a place for you to sleep. We'll make sure that there's food. We'll make sure that you get a little bit of swag. You can come check out the office. You can maybe go golfing with us. It's going to be a ton of fun and a great chance to just hang out in a less professional setting where we can really have some fun. A lot of you guys, I think I visited all the teams. Technically, I didn't visit Tulsa, which I still feel bad about. I owe those guys a bigger steak. I promised it to them. I did visit the original part of that team in Dallas or Fort Worth, but a lot of those guys weren't out there. So I feel really bad. Tulsa, I owe all of you an extra big steak. But everyone else I visited at least once this summer. And I loved getting to see you guys. But for most of you, it was a very quick stop where I couldn't really hang out and I didn't get to knock with most of you and I didn't get to jam with you. We have a lot of reps and it's hard. But Idaho Days is a great chance where we can really get to know each other and connect and have more dialogue and conversation. And it's the same with everyone else. You guys will get to hang out with Andrew and Ryan and Mark and Colby and all these other leaders and people that you've seen on the leaderboard all summer long and wanted to learn from. Aiden Parent, McKenna, everybody. So it's going to be an awesome event, and I sincerely hope that all of you will come. Ton of fun, great chance to hang out, great chance to connect, and good chance to learn something new and build for the future. Immediately following Idaho Days, so Monday to Wednesday, we're going to be here in Idaho. Wednesday afternoon-ish, we're going to drive down to Provo, Utah, where we have more Airbnbs booked. I was working on this with Demery. We already have like $30,000 worth of Airbnbs booked. And it's going to be the welcome home event. So Wednesday night is the team leader meeting. Thursday, there will be several trainings and other things that you can do throughout the day at the corporate headquarters. Same with Friday. Lots of recruiting-based training. Lots of, here's what you should be doing to train and improve your metrics for next summer trainings. And then Friday night is going to be the main event, and it's going to be epic. If you guys didn't come to kickoff, you missed out because it was insane. But welcome home is kickoff times 2. It's the coolest thing ever because it's a celebration of the good that we did this summer, which we did a lot of great things. So it's a ton of fun, and I really hope that all of you will make the trip and be there with us. So that's October 6th to the 8th here in Idaho, 8th to the 10th in Provo, Utah. And then all of our $1 million downlines will be going to Maui, Hawaii right after that for some more training and obviously a lot of fun. Congratulations to those of you who are in that trip. I'm going to go grab another water bottle. Okay. I'm back. Now, the final thing that I want to share in this podcast, and again, these podcasts are going to transition a little bit. Next week, for example, we'll still do some shout outs, but it'll be shorter because there's going to be less people knocking. We'll still do a little bit of sales talk because that's what we do. We're salespeople. But they're going to start becoming more about developing ourselves, becoming the best version of ourselves, and real estate and investing. So I think I'm committed to still doing these every week, just with a little bit of a different focus, talk about recruiting, talk about those things. Today, I wanted to share some thoughts on what the recruiting season should look like. So at the start of the podcast, I talked a little bit about what it should look like if you're still knocking, which is extreme work ethic, okay? Hold yourself to a schedule. Even if it's a little bit more relaxed, maybe you're going to the gym in the morning instead of doing the team morning meeting or whatever it is. Even if it's a little bit more relaxed, hold yourself to a very strict schedule and make sure that you're working hard. Now, if you're done selling, okay, or if this is your last week, I wanted to share some tips, tricks, and advice on how the recruiting season should come together. Guys, I've done this job for way too long. This was my 12th year. I'm 33. I'm almost 34. I have a freaking almost 8-year-old. Like, I'm getting so old. And I used to laugh. I took a couple psychology classes when I was in college. There's this one lecture that's always stood out to me. And it talked about how in men specifically, our frontal cortex, which is like the rational, kind of decision-making, non-risk-taking part of our brain, doesn't fully develop until we get to like 25, 26 years old. And I probably should ChatGPT this and look up even more recent data. But that's what they talked about then. And it's funny because when I was 21, 22, 23, like I really felt like life was, the world was my oyster. And I could do anything and everything that I wanted. And no risk was too big. And like I was a YOLO liver. And it was a ton of fun. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten way more rational and way more intentional and purposeful for good and bad. I mean, sometimes I wish I was a little bit more off the chain and doing whatever I wanted, but I'm very measured and calculated in what I try and do and the effort that I put in and everything like this. And the reason I share all this is I remember early on in my career, there were a lot of things that I didn't take serious that I wish I would have, because I could have multiplied the opportunity and I could have done things a little bit differently and been in a much better spot. And thank goodness everything worked out. And you learn with time no matter what. And sometimes you got to learn from hard knocks. But I still ended up in a great spot. There's things I would have done differently and I learned from, certainly. But I had a ton of friends who didn't end up in such a great spot. And I'm not talking about getting into bad things or vices or anything like that. But I am talking about squandering the greatest gift that we all have, which is time. Okay? So when you guys get recruited, when you come out and have a successful summer, the pitch, the vision, what we sell you as a recruiter is, hey, you can work really hard for, 4 to 6 months, and then you can do whatever you want with the rest of the year. And that's true for a lot of you, okay? For a lot of you, you worked really hard, you made enough money where as long as you don't spend like the king of Egypt, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can go travel a little bit, you can hang out and not work. You can go to school. I mean, you can do a lot of different things. And that lifestyle is incredible and it's amazing. But the reality is, if taken the wrong direction and if you don't continue to better yourself over the next 6 months, you will inevitably take steps backward. And I've seen way too many of our sales reps over the years and way too many of my friends end a really productive, hardworking, good summer with discipline and effort and energy, and they did everything right, and they had this great kind of fulfilling, wow, you did it moment, and then they end the summer and they go home and they start staying up and playing Fortnite until 4 a.m. And then they wake up at noon or 1 and they roll out of bed and they play Clash Royale for 2 hours. And then it's 3 o'clock and they're eating Chick-fil-A and doom scrolling TikTok. And maybe they show up to the office for 30 minutes around 4:30 when everyone else has been here for 7 hours already. And at 4:30, they're like, oh, we should get a poker night going tonight. And then from, 7 to 10 p.m., they play poker, and it's fun, and it's good. But then 10:30 hits, and they're back on Fortnite. And their life is just, fun, certainly, for a while. Like, all of you deserve a break. And if you want to live it up for a couple weeks, I have nothing against that. But taken too far, when you have that kind of a lifestyle, you're not progressing. And if you're not progressing and you're not becoming better, you're taking steps backward. And so they spend the next 3 or 4 months doing this, and then they realize, oh gosh, and oftentimes it's a curse word, but oh crap, summer's coming up again. I got to start kicking myself in the butt. But they're so far down this path that it's hard to get back to the habits that made them successful to begin with. One of my favorite quotes that I've been just stewing on a lot lately is, don't ask a successful person what they're doing. Okay, when someone's successful and people ask them, like, you know, what did you do to become successful? People will tell, hey, here's what I'm doing. Okay, that's not what matters. It's what you did. Okay, what did you do to become successful? You weren't staying up until 4 a.m. and waking up at 2. You were grinding. Okay, you didn't become a top sales rep, a top producer, good at this job by not practicing and scrolling TikTok all day. You became good at this job by practicing. Okay, there's a quote by, what's the guy's name that came and spoke to us a couple years ago that was Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan's coach? Oh my gosh, can't believe I'm forgetting his name. I'll look it up. You guys all know who I'm talking about though. But he talks about after the championship, you have to take the bus back to hell. Okay, you have to be willing to go back and do the hard things that you don't want to do again in order to be great again. I'm going to look up that quote actually, and I'm going to add it in here. Tim Grover. There you go. That's his name. Is there a video on this? Okay, I'll look it up.
After every championship, after every single win, when you get back on that bus or you get in your car, yep, or whatever, the destination and your navigation system should say back to hell. It should say back to hell. You have to take that trip often because you have to know that you can survive in that, because that's where you paid attention to your details. That's when nobody cared who you were. And that's where the softest place to be, because everyone thinks hell is a bad place. It's the most comfortable place on earth, because that's where all your excuses live. That's all the people that didn't make it. Yeah. All the people that are saying, you're good enough. Don't worry about it. You don't have to do all this. You made so much money. Why are you working so hard? Well, they're trying to pull you back into the place.
Ooh, that's good. So what he means by that, let me stop the share here. Oh, maybe I did stop it. Looks like we're back. Okay, so what he means by that is you have to go back and do again the things that made you successful, okay? If you had the best summer ever and you made more money than you've ever made, don't squander the good habits, the production, the new you, by going back to your old habits, your bad habits, by getting worse, by becoming lazy and justifying it and saying, I worked so hard, I deserve this. Okay, you worked so hard, you deserve to work hard again and become even better. And so, guys, I've seen it way too often, and I'm begging all of you, be productive with your recruiting season. Be excellent and even better over the next 6 months than you were these last 24 weeks that we've done this. Be even better. And I'm going to be stern and I'm going to call a lot of you out because I've seen too many great sales reps and too many great team leaders, too many of my best friends become a worse version of themselves because they let this job kind of give them a lavish lifestyle, and then they're not willing to keep grinding and they're not willing to show up, and they think they've got it made. Okay? You don't have it made because of one good summer. You don't have it made because of 2 or 3 good summers. You don't. You're young and successful, yes, and that's so cool, but you don't have it made. There's so much more in this life. There's so much more that you need to chase down and you need to become. It's so important to me, okay? And I get fired up and I get overly passionate about this because right now there's 3 or 4 people that I'm already thinking about that had a great summer and I'm worried about them because I've seen them slipping. And then there's another 3 or 4 people that had a great summer last year and they sucked this year because they weren't willing to take the bus back to hell, because they weren't willing to show up and do the things, and they stayed up and they didn't work hard when they should have recruited, and they didn't train their reps that they did bring out. And I've seen it too many times. And I see so many good examples of the other side of things where people do, and they continue to show up and they grow and they become better and they take over, and it's so much more rewarding. Winning is more fun than fun is fun. Let's find a way to win. Let's find a way to stack the wins and keep getting better and get into real estate and do all these different things. Guys, this job is funny because when I started, it was pretty much 100%, Mormon kids who had served a mission and were going to either BYU Idaho or BYU Provo. Like, that was our recruiting pool. And as time's gone on, it's expanded and it's changed and it's adjusted, and that's for the good. I love where we're at now culturally, and it's been incredibly rewarding and awesome to see. one of the changes though that's been funny is most of our sales force doesn't go to college now. Like I don't know what the percentage is, but I would guess it's like 60 to 70% of our sales reps don't go to college. Now, what happened and what still happens for a lot of our sales reps for the 30% is you end the summer and immediately you're back in classes. Like guys, I would end the summer on a Wednesday and the next Monday I'm starting school. And I'm in freaking 16 credits studying my brains out, and it's worse. And I wish that I'm back out on the doors because at least there I was making money. But now I'm paying money to go work 60 hours a week. And not only am I back in school, but I'm back at some kind of part-time job because the commissions weren't quite as juicy as they are now. And so it's like, man, I was going from sprinting to sprinting even faster, but it forced me to become better. And then all the while I'm in 16 credits and working some kind of part-time hustle and just getting done selling, I'm also recruiting and building a team. And I get 1 guy and then 2 guys and then 5 guys and 10 guys. And that's how my life was. Okay, I went to school full-time, did this job, dated, somehow managed to get strong, build a side hustle, all these different things for like my first 5 years at Aptiv, okay? So it was sprint during the summer and then sprint even more during the off season. I don't say this to be braggadocious at all, but I had a 4.0 at BYU for my first 5 semesters there, okay? 3 semesters of doing this job and, doing the summer, going back to school, I got a 4.0 because that's who I freaking am. And I'm going to keep showing up. And BYU is a hard school. And I wasn't taking easy classes. I was in American Heritage and Chem 105, Chem 107, Chem 106, Physics 105, 106, Econ 110, Counting. Like I was taking hard classes. I remember the first A- I got. It was MM Bio 240. And it was because I got a girlfriend. She screwed me up. And I didn't marry her anyway. So I should have gotten an A. But I took it serious. And I also recruited. I recruited 10 people my first year. I recruited 18 people my second year. I recruited close to 30 after that. And it was while I was in school. After my third year, I got married after my 3rd summer. So life was crazy. The summer was almost a breather. Like it was kind of refreshing to just have to focus on the doors. And that's still the case for a lot of our sales reps. But again, we have a 60%, 70% who don't go back to school. And that's okay. I don't know if college was worth it for me. I'm not as vocal as some people about it not being worth it. I didn't graduate though, I'll tell you that much. And so that 60 to 70% of you who don't go back to school, well, what are you going to do? And the default answer is I'm going to recruit. But guys, if you don't have a downline already, it's really, really hard to spend 60 hours a week recruiting. It's really freaking hard to spend 60 hours a week recruiting if you have 0 recruits. And so I want to challenge you guys to fill your time with productivity and becoming the best version of yourselves. And I mean this, and I mean it sincerely, I mean it with kindness, but do not give yourself the excuse of, I just did something really hard and worked my butt off and now I deserve a vacation. You don't deserve a vacation. You're young and you should be sprinting. So if you're not going back to school, you dang well better become the most in shape and healthy and just shredded out of your mind version of yourself that you've ever been. And then you also darn well better read a book a week that will help you become a better version of yourself. And you also better try and become a social media influencer because that's a great and valuable thing right now. And you also should probably learn real estate and other investing and become the most well-versed 21-year-old that you possibly know in all things financial. And you better get your taxes done perfect. And you better get pre-approved for a loan. And you better get your real estate license or whatever else it is that you want to do. All while also recruiting and building a downline and being in the office 40 hours a week. Because it is time to sprint. And even for me at 34 years old, okay, I took yesterday off. It was my wife's birthday. And it was a beautiful day. And I loved it, and it was fun, and it felt like the first day that I've had in 4 years. You don't have much service in Yellowstone, so it's really hard to work. But I get home at midnight, and I'm responding to every single text I got and setting up meetings for today. And the second that I get home, I'm back in the office, and I told my wife, don't expect me home before 9, because I want to work, because I want to be excellent. I want to be exceptional. And even though I'm not in my 20s anymore, I'm in my 30s, and this is my chance to build. I get to build generational wealth for my kids. I was just negotiating what I think might be the best real estate deal I've ever put together right before I started making this podcast. I'm a little antsy about it, a little nervous, to be honest. But I want to do these things. I want to work hard. I want to be exceptional. I've got I hope that I never come off as braggadocious. I'm sharing my experience in hopes that it helps. I've got every excuse to not work hard. I'm 34. I've done this job 12 years. I've done really well. Financially, if I was a little bit more frugal and modest, I could be done and I could golf all day, every day and not worry about work. But I don't want to do that. Number one, because I firmly believe with every fiber of my being that it is my moral responsibility to work really hard so that I can give back and do good in the world. And I also believe with every fiber of my being from experience and watching others that if I lose purpose in this life, I become a worse version of myself. And one of the quotes that I love very most is the truest version of hell is when the version you are, the person you are, meets the person you could have become. And man, that just hits. Like, I want to be a great person, not to receive accolades or anything else, but just simply because I believe that that's why we're here, is to become the best version of ourselves. And I believe that by doing that, I can help my kids be great. I can help Emma be happy and fulfilled. And obviously, part of this is not being a workaholic. I think I'm a little bit of a workaholic, but I have great family time. Yesterday was one of the best days of my life. Family number one. Without family, nothing else matters. But I want to work hard, and I want to improve, and I want to get better. And I want that for every single one of you guys. And I'm not going to tolerate the excuse of, I worked hard for 4 months and now I deserve a vacation. No, you're 22 years old, you're 18 years old. You don't deserve a vacation. You deserve to show up and work hard again, because this is your ticket. This is your chance. And if you take advantage of this, it will impact the rest of your life. And you can do anything that you want later on. But now's your chance to sprint. I really believe that. And I bought into it for the last 12 years. And I see the vision now. And I have the life that I want now. And I'm so grateful. I say this all the time. I said it a lot early on in podcasts. I'll say it again right now. 33-year-old Garrett is incredibly grateful for the hard work and sacrifices that 23-year-old Garrett made. I'm so grateful. And I know that 43-year-old Garrett will say the same thing. And 53-year-old Garrett will, I don't know what I'll be doing, but who knows? I'll be able to do whatever I want. And I'm excited for that. I talked about my 3 creeds for life a couple podcasts ago. Create, don't consume, give effort in everything that you do. And remember that we all die, memento mori. I think about that often, and the balance. And, what if I kick the bucket? I drive home and something happens. I think about that. It's a weird thought, but I do. And it scares me, but also I can be proud of the person that I am in this moment. And that's the best feeling in the world. Being able to look, God or whatever you believe, yourself in the eyes, say, I'm proud of who I am in this moment. And I think I've done certainly not everything right, but I've tried my best. I've said sorry when I've messed up and tried to make amends. And, I'm proud of what I've done. And I'm happy with who I am. And that's what I want for myself forever. That's what I want for my kids. That's what I want for every single one of you as well. So if you're still knocking, show up. No excuses, show up. This is the most important month of the summer, most important 5 weeks of the summer. Show up. Hit the goals, hit the benchmarks, get the accolades, earn the incentives, show up. If you're done knocking, if you're going back to school, work hard, take it serious, be excellent. If you're not going back to school, that's totally okay. But do not give me the excuse, I deserve a break. You don't. Show up and work harder. You better recruit 500 freaking people. Okay? You better learn a new language, get insanely jacked, know everything there is to know about day trading and real estate, and gain 10,000 followers on Instagram. I don't know what it is, and I don't really care. You can pursue, maybe you learn piano and you become a freaking overnight Mozart success because you spend 16 hours a day over the next 6 months playing the piano. Whatever it is that floats your boat, do it, and do it at the highest level, because I want to see you develop. I want to see you become the best version of yourselves. And then guess what? Next summer is going to come all too fast. It's crazy. Time just keeps speeding up. It's crazy. And before you know it, you're going to be back out there and you're going to be more confident because you showed up and worked hard, because you trained your recruits, because you did everything this offseason to become the best version of yourselves. And so that's our sprint. That's the recruiting season. It's growth. It's growth season. Maybe I'll make a t-shirt that says growth season, baby. That's what it's all about. Thank you guys for all your efforts. Thank you for being part of our family, our team. I love the impact that you guys make on me and the relationships that I have with each of you. And I hope that I can return the favor in some small way. You guys have given me so much. And I just sincerely hope that, like a family, we can all keep growing together and make the most of it, make the best out of it, do our part. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you when we see you. And let's keep taking over.